So, I wanted to briefly talk about breastfeeding and kind of my journey through it. I had the idea to breastfeed because that's what they're there for. That's, you know, the natural thing to do, right? So that's what I wanted to do. And I was like, how hard could it be? It was actually quite hard because my baby did not want it. Did not want to be breastfed. So let's start at the beginning. Baby comes out, right? And I had a C-section. If you want to know all about that birth, I have birth story videos. Anyways, baby comes out. Baby is huge and has low blood sugar. So what they do is they wanted to get him on formula right away to bring his blood sugar up or whatever. So they wanted to get him on formula to regulate that out. During those first week even, you only have colostrum, which is like very potent but very small amount coming out. And so it just wouldn't have been enough to, I guess, regulate his levels. And so he's on formula, which entails a bottle nipple and a bottle flow, right? And so by the time I was ready to have him in my arms, again, I was hooked up to so many things because I had preeclampsia, so they had me with IV and drawing blood and all kinds of things. But when I tried to breastfeed or get him to latch, he had already had the bottle a couple of times. Of course, the lactation nurse came in and she helped me because I was having difficulties, of course, and he latched a couple of times with her help, doing like a football style where his feet are down here and his head is here. Tried different sides, different positions, and he did finally latch and nurse for a little bit, but again, it was just the colostrum, so there wasn't a lot of flow coming out while we were in the hospital. And so he just, when he was hungry, he was hungry. Fortunately, they let me go home with like a breast pump and the attachments, so that if I were to get a medical grade breast pump, which I did in fact end up doing, then I could hook my stuff up to it. Well, anyway, so we get home and it was about 2 days and then my milk finally came in. And up until then I was formula feeding him. And so when my milk did come in, I was like, oh great, now we can, you know, try to transition him to my boob. It didn't go so well. One, the, you know, nipple, the regular nipple, doesn't feel or is as large as a bottle nipple. So he was having some confusion there. When he was hungry, he was used to just flow coming out. And so it was just really hard to get him to latch. One trick that worked for me was using the nipple shield. It's like, it looks like a bottle nipple and you can like put it over your boob. And yeah, it worked. Like I put it over and he was like, oh, it's a bottle, and he'd go and I could feed him for like 10 minutes. I think the longest I fed him for was 15. And then he'd just get frustrated and move around a lot. Oh my word, this kid would move. He still moves. He's been moving ever since he was in the womb. It just constantly moving. Outside the womb, constantly moving. And the same thing was true of feeding time. Even like formula feeding him, he would just be like moving and just like and pawing and just like really enjoying himself. And so that also made it difficult for him to stay on the boob, because like I'd have to like move with him and be like, no, stay, you know. And I was recovering from the C-section, right? So having him on me, on my stomach, on my abs, it hurt, it really did. And so that was difficult. And it was just like one defeat after another. And Anthony was so supportive. He would be like, you want to try and breastfeed? You know, he's not to the point where he's super hungry. So maybe, you know, he'll do that. And there were some times at night where, you know, we're cuddled up close and I'd be like, maybe you'll try the boob now. But it got to the point where he did not like it, and he would physically put both hands on my boob and push as hard as he could, screaming to like get away from me. It was so sad. I've never felt so rejected in my life as when he was like, get that boob, that disgusting thing away from me. Like that's that's the internal monologue I had in my head, because like he just looked so disgusted when he would like realize, oh, this is the boob, get it away from me, you know, kind of thing. And he'd just like scream and just not latch, and it was so sad. So the remedy was to breast pump, okay, to pump, because I still wanted him to get breast milk, right? And so what I was doing was I ended up getting a medical grade breast pump. You can get this probably through your insurance. Most insurances will allow you to rent a medical grade breast pump. The one that I got is the medela or whatever, the yellow one. So I got that one, and you could just look for rental places, and then if you get a prescription from your doctor, they can bill your insurance for up to 12 months. At least that's how my insurance did it. And the lady I was renting it from, the business I was renting it from, said that that's normally how it works, is you can get it up to 12 months through your insurance. So that's what I did. I got the breast pump as soon as I could, because my milk was in and I didn't want to dry up because he just was not feeding. And so what I was doing is every time he would feed, right after he got done feeding, he'd normally nap. And so after he was fed, I'd put him, you know, down to nap, and then I would breast pump. And so I would breast pump every time he fed, so that my body was like technically breastfeeding, if that makes sense. And that was working. I got up to half of his meals being breast milk. And then that also, it was really cool because Anthony got to feed him, you know, the breast milk and have that closeness and bonding time with him. So I don't mind that he's bottle fed, and I didn't mind in that moment. My most important thing was just getting him breast milk for as long as possible. So breast pumping was what we had to do. That was working until I got sick. I got like a really nasty cold or whatever, just headache, and really fatigued and lethargic. And so yeah, I was out for a day, like a good solid 24 hours. I was out. I maybe breast pumped once. And when I started breastfeeding again, it wasn't that much volume, and I was like, oh crap. And so I went from about half to a fourth, and then within a week it was like an ounce, and I'm talking an ounce both sides, which was really depressing. So he was breastfed or not breastfed, but breast milk fed for 2.5 months. And then it's just been formula fed since then, and he is a very healthy boy. The formula that I use is from Happy Baby, and I've been using their stage 1. They also do have a sensitive, and fun fact, if your baby is being like really fussy and gassy, if you're formula feeding, try switching to like the sensitive just until they're through it, and it so helps with like his fussiness. Like 2 days he was fine, and he's never been fussy since. So there's that. The bottles I use are the Dr. Brown's, and they have a colic one. It has like a green insert that helps filter bubbles or whatever. That was a lifesaver. That mixed with the sensitive formula. Like I said, just 2 days of fussiness. I started doing that. Hasn't been fussy ever since. Also, fun fact, if you didn't know, nipples have levels. So level 1, level 2, level 3, preemie ones. When I was first bottle feeding him, I had a level 2, and a level 2 is like for 4-month-olds and up. And so that also might have attributed to him drinking way too fast and then getting gassy and like burpy. So I switched to level 1, and that also helped. Anyways, so that's how it went for me. Not how I envisioned it going, but like they say with everything that has to do with life and especially parenting, the way you see it in your mind, definitely not going to play out in real life. So you got to be able to go with it, have plan B, plan C, and just be able to navigate through. Just don't freak out. Just, you know, it's normal. I think that really helped me, is just, yep, this is what it is, and we're just gonna go with it. We're gonna take our baby's cue. I think that's probably the most important thing when parenting, is just look at your child. What does your child need? And go with that. You know, you got to take their cues. If they're hungry, they're hungry. If they're not hungry, they're not. If they're fussy, it's probably because of a reason. So you got to kind of investigate, try different things. Yeah, because each baby is different. They really are. And it's been really fun. But anyways, I feel like I'm rambling now. I just kind of wanted to briefly share that I didn't breastfeed as long as I wanted to, but it's all good. He's happy, he's healthy, he's growing. Oh my word, he is growing so much. He is 5 months and he is fitting into 9-month clothing. So that's all that matters. Happy, healthy baby. Okay, so my name is Emily. I don't think I said that, but my name is Emily. I am a new mother to a son. I'm a wife, I'm a homemaker, I'm a yogi. That's kind of my spiel. I love plants. I got them everywhere. And yeah, birth story, already did that. That was a whammy. Breastfeeding was a whammy. But all in all, little guy is such an easy baby. Such an easy baby. And let's hope it stays that way. All right.